Every Tuesday and every Thursday. Y'all
Hey,
tap in.
is this thing on? Can you hear me?
Roy
Is anybody
Anthony
out there?
Show is the spot to be, baby.
Hey, tune in.
It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. And it's featuring the homie Big Hank and Christina Carter. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. And it's featuring the co-host Big Hank and Christina Carter. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. Everybody tune in, you dig it? It's funny as hell, my dude. It's when we can kick every Tuesday. Everything is going down. Every Thursday. They about to do the most. It ain't a confrontation, it's a conversation, homie. Yo, on the weekends, Roy Anthony Show. It's during the week, homie. The Roy Anthony Show. What you listening to? The Roy Anthony Show. Come on and get up, tap in. Before we gotta tap in. What you listening to? The Roy Anthony Every Show. Tuesday. Come on and kick it with us. The Roy Anthony Show. Thursday. It's going down, homeboy. The Roy Anthony.
What it do? What it do? What it do? My what it do's is starting to pick up. Every time people see me now around the nation, they see me and say, what it do? That's right. What it do? This is Roy Anthony. Welcome to the Roy Anthony Show once again. This is February the 24th, 2022. This is part of the WO Entertainment, WO Entertainment. Yes, and we're coming live around the nation. As you can tell, I always have my globe, but you never know when I'm in Los Angeles, I'm in Kansas City, sometimes I'm in Memphis, sometimes I'm down there in Florida. And what I do is I do my own survey and talking with people and meeting with people. And sometimes I find it amazing that half the percent of people that I've met don't go with nothing like what I hear from the media. It confuses me at times, you know. But anyway, my name is Roy Anthony. Welcome to the Roy Anthony Show, coming live through the WO Entertainment that was created by my man Richard King, aka Redneck Pimp, my co-creator Goose, our associate producer Blue Phoenix, Athens. We got Matt Brooks. I know Matt. I think Matt be in that cooking. I can't wait to catch up with him somewhere. I think he's somewhere in Missouri. I want to eat that barbecue that they have for real. And I want everybody always, pray for Blue Phoenix. She's a true warrior. For someone who to fight a rare cancer that she does, and every time I look up, she is constantly fighting employments, these employers, these unsympathetic people who's all about money and not about the spirit of a human being who's trying to work, and they ain't letting their sickness or ailments conflict them or stop them. Who are you? But anyway, and then we want to give a shout out to my co-stars who'll be coming in. They might not be coming in because I knew that Big Hank, his mother-in-law, had to go be rushed to the hospital this past Tuesday. That's why he wasn't on the show. We want our prayers to go out for him. And then Miss Christina Carter was asked to come speak today and Friday at a big women's convention in Washington, D.C. Have her speaking and singing. That's right. So she's with some women. They call it the delivery room. When she told to me, I didn't know if it was women who've had kids. But the delivery room is about women who's been delivered from situations. It's not even just women, it's anybody, And so we want to encourage her and wish her blessings and prayers go up for her to stay strong. She was fearful about the plane because this is the first time she ever rolled in a plane, and I wasn't making it no easy. And so we're going to get into our subject. I want to explain that Tuesday we used a video where we was first always taught to, if we use a video and we want to make fun, we to remove the audio. Well, we've been finding that the Roy Anthony Show, along with certain other shows on the Woe Entertainment, but the Roy Anthony Show be getting looked at through a microscope. It used to be a time when we would do a video, and if we did something or whatever, they were, after the video was done. Now, then they started where I'm flagged to where watch from very beginning to the end. If he say anything wrong, click, they mute me. I said something about this Harvard, this horrific disease that's been going around the U.S. If I even mention that word, click, they mute me. So we showed a video where me and some of my friends made the voices up of a scene from the Blues Brothers movie with John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd, and some people flagged it. Where we didn't use the audio, we made up our own audio, and some people flagged it. So, and the name, and it was the funniest because it's been banned until the powers to be listens to it, which we had the Richard King had to protest it by stating that it's not for we're not making money or profit off of showing that piece of video, you know. And so the powers to be, it's probably because I was messing with one of the boys and so one of the partners and calling out Carson Tucker, which they really was like, some people was butthurt. You know me, I tell my mother, I don't fear no man, I only fear God. Why would I fear someone can just destroy my body? If he put me at work, he gives you work, I got to be about my work. Because then when the end comes for me, I have to make sure, hope. The guy said, hey, some people want you to do praise God the way they praise God. He said, all will come through his son. That's what I believe. Now, I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. I believe in God, and I believe that I got salvation through his son. Some of us call him Jesus. Some call him Yahweh and all types of words, but God knows who I'm talking about. Sometimes I relate when I'm saying who God is and who Jesus is, that it's not about, I've had some partners say, man, that white man gave us that word, man. His real name is, I feel that God is so smart that the most intelligence of men is foolishness to him. An example, a little baby girl had got lost. She was 5 or 6 years old. She gets lost. And so the family and other neighbors and stuff is out looking for her all day long. It's starting to get dark a little bit. So one of the neighbors is going to get the light. They calling the little baby's name. And so as he's going to his house to get some lights, so he can flashlight, so he can help the other group, he heard something in his backyard. And so when he goes back there, there's the little girl, and she's saying ABCs. And so the man gets her and everything. And so he said, why are you just sitting here saying ABCs? She said, I'm praying, hoping that God would take the letter, praying so God to take the letters, because I don't know what to say, but take the letters and make them. It worked. He happened to hear her, find her, she's safe, get her to her parents. But she didn't know what to say to pray. And so the show today is based upon, hold up, man, there's my man came in. What's up with you? What's up with you, Big Hank?
What's up, Roy Anthony, man? How you doing, big bro?
Hey, man, I'm doing great, man. It's great to see you, man. I was just telling our audience to pray for you because I knew that you had to take your mother-in-law to the hospital Tuesday. So I didn't know if you was going to be in. I was,
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. She got a heart, what's that, pacemaker in her body,
Yes.
And it's supposed to stop her from having palpitations and things of that nature, but she's been having palpitations that she's not supposed to be having. So
Oh.
so when we took her in, they found out that she got some water around her lungs and around her chest and in her, so we luckily that we got her in there when we did. So
Well, isn't that something, man?
yes, sir,
I'm
man.
glad because man, I'm glad y'all wise enough to go and check that. I'll be thinking that the battery's running out on my pacemaker. I'll be trying to look in the kitchen drawer for some triple A's.
Yes, sir.
But man,
Yes,
I'm grateful. We was just telling everybody to pray. Christina may not be in today because she's got selected to speak and sing at a women's seminar in Washington, D.C. Today, Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations, Christina Carter.
Yeah. She
Yes,
was
sir.
nervous because this was her first time ever flying on the plane, and she was talking about Tuesday, and I was not making it easier for her because I'm like, I can't understand why where you sit for the planes is called a terminal. It sounds like a major disease.
Time to go, yeah.
Something's going to happen.
Yes, it's terminal illness. It's it. The last one.
And so I was just describing to our audience that we was banned Tuesday until they find out. I showed a video, but I took the audio out, and it was me, 3030, and a couple of the fellas in Kansas City, Missouri did the voiceover over a scene on the Blues Brothers, right?
Yeah.
Well, they banned it until it. Okay, so our head producer, which I see he's in CO, written it, he had to dispute it to tell him that it was not for sale or anything like that. And they marked, so it's an hour, 10-minute show, but they marked it from 2 minutes, 2:01 to 2 minutes, 30 seconds. And that's how long the clip is. Because I gave. Oh, he'll be back in. He has something coming in. So Big Hank is with him coming from the cell phone in Long Beach. And I'm going to explain to everybody. I live in Long Beach, and my mother, who stays in Kansas City, I come to Kansas City. So I'm out here with 72 degrees weather. I'm like, hey, yeah, it's nice and stuff. It's not Long Beach, but it's getting nice. And the next day it dropped down to 7 degrees. And my mother's like, welcome to Kansas. And I got salty. I'm like, shouldn't even have to be here. But anyway, since Big Hank could be coming back in, I want to get into our show subject today. And I want to make sure that I say what our show is based upon the right way. Our subjects is always conversed about before we decide we're going to use them. Now, today's subject in the States, they want to change the narrative when it makes them look like the bad one. Now, with everything that's going on in the US, one of the things I can't stand is hypocrisy. Don't wait till you found out, then you want to confess your sins about something and stuff. I see you back in Big Hank. We was just going over the subject where I'm gonna state it again what the subject today's show is, and I'm gonna get deep. You know me, man. I always try to get deep.
No,
and I'm gonna tell the truth. And we've been building up a lot of our neighbors who are white, blacks, Latinos. We just try to keep it 100. And today's subject is they want to change the narrative when it makes them look like the bad one. Mm-hmm. Now, why I'm bringing this subject up is that here lately, they don't want, some of our Americans do not want the history. Look, because this past Tuesday, I went deep with into Carson Tucker or Tucker Carlson. And Richie just said, laugh out loud, Carson called. He wants to talk to you. So I give him that conversation too. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What has made it look bad is that now when the kids of this generation and starting to look and see through, like, you got TikTok and Facebook and everything, and people bringing back up history of what happened like in the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Okay.
They don't want that to be taught now, especially to their kids. They don't want race to be talked about, which I feel like that's a little bit too late.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because my mother said, if you lie, you got to have a long memory.
Yeah. You got to remember that lie to tell another lie.
Exactly. But if you was truthful,
Yeah.
the truth gonna set you free, because the truth comes around. That's why God is a circle, it's a ring, because there's no beginning, no ending with him. The truth is what it is.
Yes, sir.
So I ran across this thing, a few subjects. I said,
Now, who is Carson Tucker?
oh, he is a major podcaster or reporter like we are, but he has millions of people listening to him, because
Yeah, I heard.
He's a reporter for Fox.
Okay, that's what you're talking about. I got you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I came in hard in the paint because, the World Entertainment is made to bring awareness about veterans committing suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Veteran committing suicide is done came back from fighting in a war to come back home and facing the same stuff that he was out there fighting for.
Right.
It was said he's a news correspondent. Okay, so now Mr. Tucker has been going against when the government is feeling about Ukraine against Russia.
Right.
Now, I've seen Republicans, Democrats, I've seen all the military people. That's who I pay attention to, because the military people is the ones who go shut stuff down.
Right.
They all in agreement about Ukraine, but not Mr. Carson Tucker. Mr. Carson Tucker felt that we need to listen and pay attention to what Russia. And then I found out that former President Donald Trump is also speaking kind of the same way, because he has a relationship with Putin. Putin has been in control of Russia since 1990 or 99.
Yeah, Putin.
I call him Putin now.
Yeah.
He ain't my president.
Yeah, Putin. He be Putin on motherfucker. That's Putin.
A lot of things come up. Everybody who wants to run against him end up coming up missing.
Keep fucking around with Putin if you want to. Yeah.
Exactly. And so and guess what? Some people don't even want to say their last name. They was trying to talk to some of the Russian people there. They didn't want to even say their last names because they don't have the freedom we got.
Right.
See, if Carson Tucker was in Russia, a citizen of Russia, trying to speak like he does, like here in the United States against the Kremlin and stuff, oh, guess what? Oh, he missing. Yeah. You go to look at his show, it's beep.
Yeah, that motherfucker all black. It's all black. Wonder what happened to Carson.
Exactly.
I wonder what happened to Carson.
And I made a statement that a lot of our neighbors, black, whites, Latinos, agree. You speak to Americans, Mr. Tucker. You don't speak for Americans.
Right.
Okay, so when I started looking up, and I found, me, I'm a researcher. I keep going deeper and deeper, man. I go deeper. I found some interesting stuff that I read upon and I researched, and what I do is I be having 2 laptops and my cell phone, and I'm looking up stuff, right? I'm seeing the names and all that. Well, the push right now, and I'm just going to bring this up, is that former President Donald Trump is calling out that he's going through what they call a witch hunt.
Witch hunt?
Yes. Now, to my understanding, the witch hunt is it was people in Euro times go find somebody they think is a witch so they can burn them up.
Right.
Okay. Because of
whether she a witch or not.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. All right. Go. Yeah. Go. Yeah.
So you with me, right?
Right.
because this may be considered fake.
Yeah.
Said the key thing. I'm glad you said that
Yes, sir.
because you may not be a witch or not.
Right. Right.
Where in this episode is trying to say like he is not.
Right.
But guess who the witch hunters are?
Yeah.
Do you know who the witch hunters that he's saying he's under this witch hunt? Guess who they are?
Who?
Lolita James, who is the attorney general of the state of New York, who is a black lady.
Uh-huh.
The attorney general, the head prosecuting attorney general of the city of Manhattan, who was a black guy.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And then in Georgia, when he tried to get Raffensperger or whatever, give me them 11,000 votes. Come on, I know you can do it.
Yeah.
Right? Well, that's a felony too.
Yeah.
And it's been brought up by the attorney general of that state, which happens to be a black lady.
Black lady, yeah.
Now, mind you, all three of these people is not just filled out an application and got this position. They had to be voted in
right
by the people of that state in them city.
Yes, sir.
And obviously they won. And it lets me know that Georgia is not all about bigotry.
Mm-hmm.
New York is not all about bigotry because then it sure wouldn't be no blacks in there.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're coming with the evidence that our former President Donald Trump has messed up on something.
Mm-hmm.
So just as he did for January 6th, he is now pushing out propaganda.
Right.
That if they come to get me, you should be up at alarm as well.
Right.
Now, what is being pushed is that from their account is that they're trying to say America wants to victimize all white men. That they don't have a chance in this world. What does that happen? That creates a fear.
Yeah.
You know, I read something Tuesday. I did not know, but I read that, you know, we hear about the Declaration of Independence, but we never, do you ever really read it?
Mm-hmm.
And it says that if the government is failing us, we have the rights to demolish it and start anew.
Mm.
That was wrote by Thomas Jefferson and all the George Washington and them crews.
Yeah, all of them.
We don't read the Declaration of Independence. Yeah. It says, hey, demolish this and start anew.
Yeah.
Well, what I found out in this push for Make America Great Again was that the year that they've been focusing on is 1956. They would like society, American society, to be back to 1956. If you don't agree with being back in 1956, you are not really a true American.
Who said that? Trump now?
That's his people saying it. I brought it up. People think I'm playing. I make sure I bring it up Tuesday because I had different editorials. I brought it up. If I can show it to him.
I wasn't born in 1956, so hell no, I don't want to go back to 1956. No.
Well, you look at the demographics. You know, look at stuff like Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah.
Leave It Beaver can't walk them down them people. You can't be black walking down Leave It Beaver's neighborhood. You definitely ain't coming in the front door.
Yeah.
Not at the restaurant. President Joe Biden, I understand, is about to speak. Those who wants to watch him live, myself, I'll probably watch him after he gets done because they're about to talk about this war. And when the war comes in, stocks go down a little bit. All of a sudden, diseases don't seem to be happening as much because
population. The Beaver didn't have one.
Hey, your phone's sticking, Big Hank. Your phone's sticking in. Big Hank's phone got stuck. I don't know what's going on with it. Wait a minute, I see Christina Carter's in. What's up, lady? You just gonna stay in the background? You want to stay in the background? Or you staying like this? You want to stay right here?
Okay. You can hear me?
Yes, I hear you muffled a little bit. You would.
Oh, I'm in the airport.
Oh, okay. I understand. And
Yeah,
so we're going to keep your mouth mask on because you don't want to get in trouble with TSA. They sure would ask you to
well,
leave. So we don't want that. Um, um, Big Hank just was in. Something happened with his phone. He'll be coming back in. We're talking about how the narrative, how society wants to change the narrative because it makes some of them look bad. And I was going
mm,
over about what we read on the Declaration of Independence, what you remember hearing. Um, on the Declaration of Independence, that's discussed that if you don't like the government that you have, that we could demolish it and start anew. But what we
mm,
also was talking about how some of our Americans are wishing that this was going back to 1956.
yeah.
Um, what you trying to show us? Who's in the airport with you?
I know I was trying to lift my phone case up.
Oh, I'm like, they looking over at you like, hey, you just not, are you flying? You just getting to the airport today, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We were just saying, talking with you, teasing about you, like this is the first time at the airport.
And I'm
Okay.
still nervous.
Hey, you should be. When you land, you're
Wow.
gonna be like, "Whoo, Lord, thank you." But we're talking about this narrative. Ukraine Americans are marching. That's what they're saying. This the war is starting to start over there in Ukraine. With the Ukraine and Americans and other allies that's about to deal with Russia. And while that is going on around the world, I've been wanting to address when people are stating that about us being Americans. What's real Americans? Me and Big Hank was just talking about people wanted to go back to 1956. In that era, in that year, blacks was under the suffrage of Jim Crow law. And for some people wants to go back to that, you should mute your mic so that way we can't hear.
Oh,
We
they are doing it.
yeah. Um, we if anybody's just coming in, Miss Christina Carter is at the airport, so we just have muted mic because it'd be all types, and she wants us to stay in with her because she know this is her first time flying, and so we got our prayers for her and stuff, right? But I'm getting to this subject about this narrative because every time it seems like every race can talk about something, but when blacks seem to talk about something that's dealing with another race, we tend to get called out for it. I've been suspended from my company. I've been let go from some companies because of my freedom of speech and willing to seek out the truth. In November of 1960, so when they brought up 1956, I want to see, and I found something 4 years off of this year. This was 1960. And in 1960, there's a group of parents, a whole bunch of parents. And I'm bringing this up because these pictures that I'm about to share are pictures that they don't want them to use no more because now these people are grandparents and they want their grandkids to believe that they are been loving of society. It's about cookies and achievements and everything. And what I'm discussing today, and I'm bringing this narrative up, is about Ruby Bridges. You know who Ruby Bridges is, Christina? Okay, Ruby Bridges was a 6-year-old down in New Orleans, Louisiana. As she is going to school, parents live in the district. Parents took the time to get out and want to yell at this little girl who's 6 years old. I'm gonna bring it in. Anybody who knows the show knows how I do. This is Ruby Bridges. The three men around her are FBI agents. She's 6 years old to go to an elementary school. At 6 years old, she don't know nothing about discrimination, race, or anything. She's going to a school that was predominantly all white, and she is the start of the segregation. She's not crying. She's not she's not scared or grabbing the people's leg and help me. She's showing her strength. You see that, right? Now, why I'm bringing this up is because there's some people that was there, and they do not want Ruby, their association with Ruby Bridges to be shared. And I'm going to share with everyone why. I think this, let me make sure I'm doing the right one. Here we go. I think this is the one I want to start showing. Everyone be patient with me because I'm getting to a point. Okay. Like they used to say, okay. Here is some parents that was yelling at Ruby. Let me get this down out here. I want to show this picture. These parents, these are the women who are yelling for little Ruby Bridges to from entering their school. I looked at what they have the little boy over here on the side with a sign. All I want for Christmas is a clean white school. I'm not making this up. These are iconic pictures. I'm not mad at these ladies, but now they are feeling bad, America, because they don't want their kids, their grandkids, to see them in this iconic situation. They want the narrative to be changed that we've always been civilized. That's why the media paints it that blacks are always uncivilized. Even though we make 13.5% of the population, we are always showing some type of crime. Down at Hoya, our producer has to slip out. I want to show these pictures because I remember there was an old television show, Flip Wilson, and he said, the devil made me do it. These people look like they could be good. These are some good people. I think these some good people. It's just that the demons, they didn't want to fight them demons. I know you in there, ladies, but you let them demons take control. And when you let them demons take control, demons teach hatred. Now, I'm not done. I'm not done. No, I'm not done at all. I'm about to bring up, I want to bring this one in. When media affects the narrative, and when the narrative doesn't go with them, they don't want it to be heard. This scene got to me. Look how angry these guys are. Now, a lot of people don't understand is that this is just some racist white guys. This is a story, and it's called Unpublished Black History. This is a story, a mob boss, gunshots, and racial violence. On June the 28th, 1971, Joseph A. Colombo Sr., the Brooklyn Mafia boss, was shot in the head and critically wounded at Columbus Circle as an Italian-American civil rights rally was about to begin. The crowd reacted immediately with confusion, sorrow, anger, rage, and violence directed at Negroes in the crowd because, as the radio told them, and they told each other, Colombo had been shot by a black man. The gunman was killed, and our front page article the next day showed a wounded Mr. Colombo, but the black man in the image above, unpublished until now, was simply a bystander. I wouldn't make this up. There's no police to help. There's no nothing. This is 1971. I don't show where we don't went from 1965, a little girl is trying to go to school, to 1971, they're getting us division with Italians and blacks. The radio said it was a black man. It was always something media to go that black, because I'm saying this because right now over there in the fight the war in Ukraine with Ukraine is black soldiers as well. And those who wants to sit and wants to know, when I share my history, my research, just like when this lady right here, this amazed me, everybody, this little story right here. When we talk about with the police, okay, in Chicago, a family was stopped by the police on their way to the stores in the middle of the protest. The family was yanked out. They broke the windows in the car. They pulled them all out. All four women and a dude pulled them out. And now the city has to pay them $1.6 million. But one of the council members, it just tickled me. He said a Chicago City Councilman voted last week to pay damages, but it was what this one particular city councilman said. Alderman Raymond Lopez said in opposing the settlement that the city will be opening a Pandora's box by settling the lawsuit and will give everyone an excuse to start suing. Because of early of last December, the city of Chicago has already paid out $67 million in 2021 alone to resolve police misconduct claims. Now, once again, seems to me like we got some people who don't got their priorities correct. I've always said. So you're telling me it's the victim's fault to getting busted in the head. It's their fault for getting busted in the head. And then so when the money comes for the lawsuits, because it's not right, now you're saying, well, we shouldn't pay them this. It's opening up a Pandora's box. Wouldn't you think that then that lets you know that then we need a retraining of police, that they should be taught humanity? So that way when, like if they went to school and got their associate's arts degree to become a police officer, I'm not saying defund the police, I'm saying let's use it so they can go to school, teach them the classes. Don't worry about they beating on the street. Let them get at these classes, get their associate's arts degree, learn humanity, sit in classes with other people that's not a police officer. Because out of 7 people, grabbing 4 people, and they ain't got no weaponry, no stolen anything. Now they are victims where one lady is blind in her eye from getting beat. Now you're telling that, well, we're open, we shouldn't pay them. Well, You better not let nobody smack you upside your head and you talking about suing. You better not. Because that's you're gonna open up a Pandora box, sir. Ain't it funny how when the narrative has to be changed because it makes certain people look bad, but you can't escape the truth. When I was a kid, they sung in the church, "Ain't no hiding place down here." Went behind the rock to hide my face, and the rock cried out, "No hiding place." And people think that I'm crazy because I laugh, because if God is for me, who can be against me? I have no fear about people. Look, I can't. If I choose to follow this road, I sure can't be scared, because look what they did to Jesus. Not saying these good people. It amazes me when people, say that, hey, God is everything what I'm doing, but you spilling hatred, and God is love. That's what it tells me. If He's a God of love, how is He letting you get away with hatred? He don't let me get away when I want to be. I could come on my podcast, it's the Roy Ante Show, and say some crazy things. And I have no fear of no ramifications. But you know what? I have to be civil as well. And the God in me tells me to anger, but sin not. Because I don't have to go out and bust you in your head and make a point across. I'm going to recognize that you're a good human being, and that ain't you. That's just them demons that you fight. And I'm here to fight with the demons, not with you. That's why I don't like when people takes their platform. Oh, I want to show this. This is Miss Ruby Bridges of today. I'm going to show this of Miss Ruby Bridges. This is her of today. And what I liked about it is that she's a teacher. And look at her look at her. I want you to see her students. You would think that she went through all of that. She went through all of that all her kids that she teach should be black. But they said they love her. Her students, they love Miss Ruby Bridges. My mother is RN, and she taught RN when she taught nursing. I don't know field RN, LPN. I think it was nurse assistants. Or she taught at the junior college, and her students was all racist. And I see pictures of where they all fell in love with her. They give her hugs, and she's a black lady coming up from the streets of Los Angeles. She loved all the students. This lady right here went through all of that as a 6-year-old. Look at her teaching all, and her students, they said they love her. Now, she didn't change her narrative. She could be where she dislike all the people. She dislike all of them. She could be where she don't have nothing to say to especially white folks, but we don't let hatred ride with us. People say, well, that happened back then. If you don't know your past, it'll affect your presence and deteriorate your future. I'm giving a special shout out for all, especially our American troops going over here for this war. I'm not in the power to condemn anyone. I just pray that I hope that they're doing the right thing and do it right. I hope that it's a swift and easy war. If they do have the war, it's not drawn out and wondering how long we got to petition for our soldiers to come back. But that's not my call. Only God can judge them. And I pray for all of our veterans, those who just got out of service and now they wonder, man, should they return? And these undecisive decisions that people is thinking about right now. And they can't afford to let the narrative change. I'm not going to look at my Americans as being the bad guys. When they said American against, everybody who's against, I'm thinking that they're the bad guys. Because this is the country that I live in and I'm part of, and I love my country. Do we get along with everything? And it's just no. And I don't like that, because I'm not going back into the 1956. You can do all your what you call as you want. I should be the one asking you, why are you looking at me? Who told you to come in the front door? That ain't your water fountain to drink from. You better take your. Well, if I come to you like that, it make me feel ugly by just even sharing that. You want a lot of people wants to be the bosses. They want to tell everybody else what to do and don't do nothing. Therefore, you have slavery. It's not coming back like that. We're in a technology world where I'm concerned about wars nowadays. All the different satellites in the airs, you can pinpoint a region. We thought Hiroshima was bad. Wow. And these are histories. I'm a modern day cat. My generation is the ones who created the cell phones, the pagers, the hip hop. I believe that. We brought spice and upgraded our lottery seasoning to the United States. And like Dr. Dre said, and this is the thanks I get. I be wanting to let people know, and please listen to me right now. I do not classify myself as an African American. I'm an American. If you want to describe my color, I'm black. I don't know nothing about Africa, just like you don't know nothing about the UK or Europe or Sweden. And let you do your family background and your DNA check in whatever country you're from. They don't call you, oh, well, you're a Greece American, you Sweden American, or you're an Ireland American, you're Mexican. I'm an American. Just like it was some old pantsy guys who was trying to write up the laws of the United States when it first came out. It's the same pantsy black folks do the same thing. Ain't nobody asked. There wasn't no vote if we want to be called African Americans. In the 70s and 80s, they was calling themselves Afro Americans. But you got somebody who wants to be Mr. Yes, I'm this and that. A black version of the dude from the Monopoly got the one spectacle. Well, I speak for all the blacks, and we want to be called Africans. No, we don't. I don't like to be described as nothing except an American. If you was to ask me and my partners, my family members, when you done shed blood for something, well, guess what? It ain't no African. I have not shed blood from Africa. I know where my heritage come from. Most, matter of fact, all people in the world origins come from Africa. It's dated as the first place of mankind. You can't tell me, well, I'm not describing. They say describe yourself in the own thing. I say other. I can't grow a beard. Most of my friends can wear a beard. I can't grow a beard because how smooth my face is. So you don't think I want to wear my little beard? I can't grow a beard. My mother say it's Indian, the Native American. But when I cut my arm and some of my friends cut their arms, it was just red fluid came out. It didn't. The side of it was black skin, white skin. Hey, Mr. Roy, this is Christina's son. Okay. I see you in there, man. Christina's son just hit me up. It be tripping me out when young people say, Mr. Roy. I sound like a talking horse or mule. But I let them know. My kids look at what I'm saying because I'm gonna hold them accountable to be truthful and live with the truth. And if the truth is for you, then I used to be told this when I was a youngster, that if you're doing it right, if people talking and talking about you and all that, then you must be doing something right. They sneering at you and whoop de whoop. I don't blame just our I don't blame our white neighbors. I don't blame like you seen the pictures. I don't just blame the white folks. I don't just blame the black folks and stuff. There's things I've called out, but I blame these demons. I blame these demons that we seem to let take control of. I still, you know, and everybody is infected by it. Me, I get riled up when I see these. I can't watch some old movies sometimes, like Mississippi Burning and the movie of Medgar Everson. So you know why? Because it makes me upset. And as a kid, I watched movies like with Charles Bronson and Steven Seagal, and they went with for revenge. You mess with my family. Could you picture your 6-year-old daughter trying to go to school and a bunch of parents is yelling at her? Can you imagine? Some people that watched the movie of Ruby Bridges, but it's not just first time, it's even modern people's kids being shot. Remember um my man oh my God, there's so many. The young kid from Florida walking home with some Skittles. Oscar Grant over there in Fruitvale, Florida. I mean, it's Fruitvale in Oakland, California. To Ahmaud Arbery. They're like, I mean, you would think that if these people can go mobbing because their emotions is up because of one of their loved ones got killed, what do you think we be feeling? But yet, I always say, man, black folks we got more cheeks than most other people because it say turn one cheek. When I was a kid, my grandmother was the pastor of the church and she was preaching about turn the other cheek. And so I had a fight with this guy, well, disagreement, because I didn't fight because the sermon is ran in my head. You know, that's why the God said come as a kid, because kids concept of what they believe, they participate as such. That's why they dress up as superheroes and stuff. They going out there and really in their minds they going to fight crime like Batman, you know. And my grandmother said this sermon, I was like 9 or 10, about turning the other cheek. I go to school and me and this kid gets into a disagreement and he hits me in the jaw. And everybody went, ooh, they just know that the fight is on. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to fight you. I'm turning the other cheek. And he wallowed me about 3 or 4 more times, like, boop, 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 yo, punk. And I wasn't fighting. I was like, I wasn't worried about the getting beat down. My concern was, do I got this right? So I go back to my grandmother. I go to my grandmother that evening. I say, Nana, didn't you teach us that we're supposed to turn the other cheek? And she said, yes, baby. I said, what if you turn the other cheek and they hit you in that cheek? And my grandmother said, well, baby, you only got 2 cheeks. When they hit you in your other cheek, that's when you ball your fists up in the name of Jesus and try to knock them out with the power of the Holy Ghost. And I follow that statement to this day. Now, what I realize is that is don't be irrational, but don't be no fool neither. God knows what to put me in, because I don't think I could take a water hose and like they said, yeah, the dog and the power and authorities and stuff. You got to I go through it now. It sickens me when I can see child molesters and all this and stuff, and all the time. But you're worried about someone fighting in the school, some teenagers fighting in the school or in the mall. Let me show my authority. Someone drive to use the same authority. Take the time to find some of these unsolved murders. Go use your policing to go find these child molesters and these abductions. America is the main country for abduction of kids. When the people look, they just arrested some union leader for taking the money. He just taking your money and kicking it with his own self. Need policing standards. We need new charters. I'm tired of hearing the same rhetoricness, the black preachers and stuff. That's where you can talk to most of the blacks. You go into preaching and stuff, and ain't nothing changed in your life. Because God probably ain't in it. I can't stand when somebody says, oh, you need to meet my pastor. For what? Introduce me, see if I got a relationship with God. I'm not going to go in no box and talk to another man and say, Father, I've sinned. And he tells me, man, how you out your mind? When Jesus told me how I could pray. I don't have no time to be driving to somebody else's spot to go in a box and tell him some of the stuff. I'm going to take it straight to God and let you do what you do. It was funny to me how black preachers, a lot of preachers, especially black preachers, sure made a lot of money through the crack pandemic. When the crack was out, a lot of people don't know dope dealers have a conscience. Give the money to the pastors and stuff, hoping, it'll help them forgive sins, because a lot of Catholics went to their priests and they forgive your sins. So let me give this. I know what I'm doing wrong, Pastor, but I thought I gave this 100,000, 2 million. All of a sudden, we got all these major pastors, TBN blowing up. Wow. But I don't know what I'm saying. I just tell people, look for yourself, because you're too robotized. Then you're shocked when it goes against your system. You so robotized and stuff. Oh, police are only doing their duty. Them people they was beating was resisting arrest. Up with Donald Trump. We worship him. We're going to take over this government. 761 people. Which all need to be charged with murder and attempted murder and it's terroristic threats, as far as I'm concerned. You talking to someone who I've seen some of me and my peers go to prison, jail for less. Don't let one person be dead. I've seen people with a group of people, one of the people in that group died, and they all had to go to jail. It's funny how when the narrative changes and it makes that person look like the bad guy. Oh, they just walked into the federal building, probation. Just like that brother who was standing up there, went in there and followed. I like when Big Hank imitated his voice. I just followed the crowd. Walks in there with them people in there standing in them chambers. After you done heard them say, man, I wouldn't even be if Nancy Pelosi and former Vice President Pence was standing out somewhere, I'm not going. If a partner yell out, man, kill Pence, man, I don't know nothing about that. And get away from me. I'm gonna beat this thing down. Get the fuck away from me, man, because you trying to bring some terroristic stuff here, and I'm not into that. So if anybody's feeling, but because the narratives have changed, you look like an outlaw. You look like uncivilized people. You look ghetto to me. That is ghetto when you going up there, then you're going to take over something. You done built your head up so much that you want to be in control. I wonder how many of them is ready to go fight for our country. I wonder how many of them is thinking like how JFK said, don't ask what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Don't mean we need you to go up to the Capitol and trying to kill people and take over. And so because You don't even know the laws. You just want to be in control. Take it back to 1956, where I had to go through the back. I can't look you in your eye. I can't walk on your sidewalk. I got to stay in the back of the bus. Well, it ain't happening. We're Americans. And if you mess with, and we decide, and our government to say and our military to say we got to go over here and fight Ukraine, well, I'm with my Americans. I'm not listening to no punk percent people and all that. I'm not listening to that. Don't care what race you are. Some people used to say, well, Biden ain't my president. Well, what country you living in? Remember, man, you got to fight them demons. All y'all could be good people. It's just the demons that you let take over. I'm affected by the same ones. Because sometimes I get so angry. I get so mad. I be like, and the Lord knows what I've been through. I've been through gunshots, 6 bullet holes in my back. I've been through stab. I've been in major battles. And I'm still here. Hoping my soldiers can find solace that comes back and find a reason to live. Don't let these contrariness of people to say anything. Christina said, I'm going to the force. That's right. So sometimes we got to do like the word of God says. Sometimes a lot of us have been where we kept quiet about things in your family, things that's going on in your relationship, things that's going on in your job or anything. Look, don't listen to other people when you say, you just keep that to yourself. That's the devil. God said, ponder these things, think of these things, and talk upon these things. He said that way you can be able to relieve that you're not the only person who thinks like you do. I'm Roy Anthony. Welcome. Thank you for joining me on the Roy Anthony Show. We'll be seeing you Tuesday, which will be March the 1st of 2022. That's only if God allows. All right. God bless, man.
Every Tuesday and every Thursday. Yeah,
Hey,
tap in.
is this thing on? Can you hear me?
Roy
Is anybody
Anthony
out
Show
there?
is the spot to be, baby.
Hey, tune in.
It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. And it's featuring the homie Big Hank and Christina Carter. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show.